You all Diddy is going down, and this time he is remaining down for good. A video as of late spilled of him putting his paws on Cassie. And it is terrible. I mean, sure, she previously let us know in her meeting that Diddy was brutal and frequently put his paws on her, yet I don't figure anybody might have set us up for how terrible it truly was for some foundation story. Cassie came out last year with an unstable claim where she blamed Diddy for a wide range of unseemly conduct. She guaranteed that he purportedly put paws on her, saw her, pimped her out to others, followed her, compromised her, and a ton of other stuff. She laid everything out in the claim. And she put out an announcement that said, after years peacefully and haziness, I'm at long last prepared to recount my story and to shout out for myself and to serve different ladies who face savagery in their relationship anyway. Diddy's legal counselors pummeled her and blamed her for attempting to check out Diddy and coerce him for cash. His legal advisor, said Mr. Combs, passionately denies these hostile and ridiculous claims for the beyond a half year. Mr. Holmes has been exposed to Miss Venter's tireless interest of $30 million, under the danger of composing a harming book about their relationship, which was unequivocally dismissed as unmitigated shakedown. In spite of pulling out her underlying danger, Miss Ventura has now depended on documenting a claim loaded with unmerited and preposterous untruths, planning to discolor Mr. Cole's standing and looking for a payday. They attempted to paint Cassie as a gold digger and an unpleasant ex who was after Diddy's cash, since her profession was not working out positively. Yet what they didn't understand, acknowledged, was that Cassie had individuals behind her. There had been murmurs for quite a while about how Diddy wasn't precisely a decent individual, and how savage he was in the background, and Cassie's claim essentially affirmed that she had a ton to say regarding how Diddy treated her. And she gave such countless models. The court reports said that he S.A'd Miss Venter in her own home after she attempted to leave him, frequently punched, kicked, and trampled Miss Venter, bringing about wounds, burst lips, bruised eyes, and draining, constrained Miss Venter to participate in acts with male subs while getting off on it and shooting. The experiences requested that Miss Venter to convey his gun in her handbag just to make her self-conscious and exhibit how risky he is, and a quaint Miss Coach with a way of life of unreasonable liquor and substance use, and expected her to obtain unlawful remedies to fulfill his own enslavement. She guaranteed that he had all-out command over her, and he would put paws on her for each little bother. The claim proceeded to list a few events where he put paws on her, like the time they were returning in the wake of going to a party with Jay-Z. Comes thump Miss Guide over and again in an escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He constrained her out of the vehicle on 5th AV in New York City. She was ultimately ready to flag down a taxi and get to her loft in Manhattan. There's likewise when Cassie addressed a music chief with at least some expectations of her promoting her vocation. It was only a relaxed discussion in a club, yet Diddy lashed out that when he left the club, Mr. Combs thumped Miss Venter, driving her into an edge of the vehicle and trampling her destiny. When the vehicle showed up at Mr. Combs' home, Miss Venter endeavored to take off, yet Mr. Combs followed her and continued to again kick her in the face. Miss Venter was draining bountifully and was guided into Mr. Combs' home, where she started to hurl from the rough occurrence. She likewise described when he put paws on her at the Intercontinental Inn in Century City, Los Angeles, in 2016, as per the court reports in or around Walk 2016. During a faux at the Intercontinental Lodging in Century City, Los Angeles, Mr. Coles turned out to be very inebriated and smacked Miss Venter upside the head, giving her a bruised eye. After he nodded off, Miss Venter attempted to leave the lodging. Yet as she left, Mr. Combs stirred and started shouting at Miss Venter. He followed her into the corridor of the inn. While hollering at her, he snatched at her, and afterward took glass jars in the passage and tossed them at her, making glass crash around them as she hurried to the lift to escape. When Diddy perceived how much harm this was doing to him, He decided to settle the claim one day after she documented anyway. He actually kept up with his honesty. And his attorney put out an announcement saying a choice to settle a claim, particularly in 2023, is not the slightest bit a confirmation of bad behavior. Mr. Cole's choice to settle the claim in no manner subvert his flat-out disavowal of the cases. He is blissful they got to a shared repayment and wishes Miss Ventor the best while it just so happens. This was a gigantic falsehood, since film just spilled of the episode being referred to, and it is much more terrible than how Cassie put it in the spilled video, which was posted by CNN. Cassie was attempting to take off from him. She made it to the extent that the lift before Diddy came running in the passage, with just a towel tied around his midsection. And he began to put his hands on her, vigorously hauling her on the floor in the corridor back to her room. Young lady, I'm completely serious. When I say that Diddy should be under the prison, it's significantly more sad when you notice that Cassie didn't attempt to retaliate. She just laid there and took it, allowing him to do anything he desired to her and twisting up to safeguard her head and stomach. Obviously, this wasn't whenever that he first put his hands on her. That way considerably more troubled Cassie's claim. Uncovered that after she figured out how to move away from him on that event, she actually returned to the inn to apologize to him, since she was scared of how he would treat her when they were in confidential. She said she figured out how to get into the lift, and when she got to the campaign, immediately took a taxi or a condo after understanding that her taking off would make Mr. Combs be much angrier with her and totally trapped in his endless loop of misuse. Miss Ventor got back to the inn fully intent on saying sorry for taking off from her. When she returned in, safety faculty encouraged her to get once again into the taxi and go to her condo, proposing that they had seen the security film showing Mr. Miss Ventor, and tossing glass at her in the inn lobby. She likewise asserted that he paid off somebody in the inn for the recording of the occurrence, since he realized very great what might occur, assuming it were at any point. Released the archive set upon data and conviction. Mr. Combs paid the Intercontinental Century City $50,000 for the foyer security film from that night. You all need to realize the insane part about this is that after this, while Cassie was mending from the injuries in private, did he compromise her to return to him? Or he would demolish her vocation. He likewise sent individuals to compromise her to get back to him. She said after this, Miss Ventor left her home in Compton and went to stow away at a companion's home in Florida. James Cruz, leader of Terrible Kid, the board followed Miss Ventor down and told her that her single wouldn't be delivered in the event that she didn't answer Mr. Combs' calls. A lady who worked at Sony Music contacted her with a comparative final offer concerning her record. Unquestionably, Mr. Combs even persuaded one regarding his lawyers to call Miss Ventor. As of now, this attorney told Miss Ventor that it's to your greatest advantage to get back to Mr. Combs each time Miss Ventor attempted to take off Mr. Combs, and his strong organization would drive her once again to him. It's simply insane how much dauntlessness this man has, taking steps to destroy her after he put stop on her. And she quickly got away, yet assuming that there is one certain about this present circumstance. It's that the entire world at long last recognizes the truth about him, and he is confronting some serious charging. For some setting, there are